It's the same story told over and over again. People all across the region struggling to get tests, forced to take time off work and school, left in limbo. Mum of three, Nicola from Plymouth, tried for 5 days to get a test for her 14-year-old son, but none were available.
The whole system is an absolute shambles. It's an utter fiasco. Schools should not have been sent back until we had a working test, track and trace system, and the system just can't cope at the moment, and children are being put at risk.
Mark from Exeter couldn't get an appointment locally, so was forced to travel further afield.
I've kept trying throughout the day at different points. And then my girlfriend's messaged me and said, I've looked and there's, you can get one in Swansea. It's only 57 miles away. Obviously it's not, but the way it's done on the government website clearly is how the crow flies. So from Exeter over the water to Swansea is 57 miles, but driving is 120 plus.
I'm now on the 6th day of being ill, and you can hear from my voice that I've got a cold, that I'm full of phlegm and so forth.
78-year-old Sam from Watchet in Somerset arranged a test in Exeter, but was turned away because she didn't have a code which is supposed to be automatically generated when an appointment is booked.
I got to Exeter slightly early, and I sat and watched as the stream of people went neatly through. And then at 9 o'clock, when I joined the queue, they said I hadn't got a QR number, and I didn't know what a QR number was. I do now. And at the time, it was just very sorry, we're going to have to go home.
Neil from Sherborne in Dorset encountered the same problem when he arrived in Exeter.
The chap on the gate did tell us that 600 people had been through the gate the day before, and only 150 people managed to get tested because the other sort of 450 people didn't have QR codes. They'd had the same problem.
People are being urged not to turn up to drive-through test centres unless they have an appointment. But many are finding the online booking system difficult to navigate.
From about 1:30 on Tuesday, I constantly was on the 119 COVID website, on the government website, to try and book a test. Nothing came up. I was constantly refreshing the page, and then eventually at about 6 o'clock it came up with Launceston. But when I went to click on the slots available bit, it kept coming up saying there was no slots available. It was just so stressful because I just couldn't get anywhere.
Kate did manage to get a test for her son as she's an NHS worker. But not everyone has been so lucky. Chris's 12-year-old son was sent home from school, suffering from COVID-like symptoms.
It's been absolutely appalling trying to get a test for him, and school's not allowing him to go back to he has one. It's hard because he's autistic as well, so it's hard for him to change. He's struggling because he's used to being at school with his friends, and he can't go out and socialise till we get the test done and find out the results. So it's quite hard for him at the moment, but we're doing as best we can for him.
The Department of Health told us they're seeing a significant demand for tests, including from people who do not have symptoms. They say labs are processing more than 1 million tests each week, targeted at areas which need them most.